Good evening, my friends, and you are my friends. Do not adjust your screens. The Gov is not very well tonight. He's got a bit of a cough. I think he said today in the WhatsApp group, £12 on cough medicine. So get well soon, Gov. He is backstage producing. Just a quick one. Talking Town, we are partnered with Stowmarket Osteopaths. Al-Hamadi, I will get his name correct, passed his medical. But could you give Freddie a call on 01448 616 633? Tell him the Gov sent you for your osteopath and physio needs. Don't live life in pain. So, now I've got that out of the way. This is Talking Town. Oh, look, he's put the wrong number. 01449, actually. So I don't go ringing 01448 01449 616 633. This is Talking Town, and this is our transfer special. If you've been living under a rock, you will not have heard. Town have signed 21-year-old Ali Al-Hamadi from AFC Wimbledon. Tonight we have got Craig joining me and Phil. They will come in shortly when Gov presses the buttons, and hopefully they will appear. Obviously, he's not pressed the button, so I'll keep talking. There they are, Optimistic Phil and Craig. Good evening, gents.
Evening, mate. Evening, Phil.
Evening. Blue Army's finest. No, I've not been on the beers. That was the Gov's fault. He gave me the wrong phone number there. Misinformation. Just quickly, if you're tuning in tonight and you missed yesterday's Talking Town, how good was it, guys?
Oh, fiery.
I've been told by more than one person it was one of the best Talking Towns that we've done. So if you haven't watched it, get back on YouTube, give it a watch, smash the like button, and FTA, comment for the algorithm, Craig. Anyway, guys, we are going to be joined shortly by Steve, who is an AFC Wimbledon fan. He's going to come in and tell us all about the new signing. Quickly, Phil, before we bring Steve in, what's your thoughts quickly?
I think we've got a good lad here. He looks like a proper goal scorer, and he's got potential, so he's one for the future.
Has Matt Phillips come back with his brew yet? Yeah, he had a nice cup of tea, didn't he? The toys come out the pram. The WhatsApp group's been absolutely on fire today. On fire, Craig. Carnage.
Well, yeah.
Carnage in there. Mate, carnage in there.
It was classic. So I loved every minute of it.
Were you one of the only people who agreed with him?
Well, I didn't say I agreed with him. I said I understood what he meant. It's very different to agree with someone, but I understood where he was coming from.
Anyway,
sort of.
Matt Stanhouse says, "Are you in the broom cupboard?"
No, I'm in like my little office bit. But when you've got two kids and they've just got, that's all our the black ones there. That is all our programs. That one's last season's. That one's this season's. So programs, tickets, newspaper articles, everything.
Well, this guy. Phil is normally he's either in the paper, he's on Sky TV, he's doing the rounds. Do you collect programs, Phil?
No, I think the last time I bought a program must have been about 16, 17.
I was talking to Colin about this the other day, and I remember, this is probably showing my age, when you used to collect them and you used to have like a binder that you could put them in. You put all your programs in for the season. Do they still do them, do they?
Yeah, they still do them in the club shop. You can get them upstairs, down below. But it frustrates the life out of me when there's only been a few games we've been to away where you go and try and get a program. They go, "Oh no, it's all digital now." I think, typical modern day football, isn't it? A digital program. Next will be scan a QR code to get the program.
On your program will be number 16. Ali Al-Hamadi. Joining us tonight is Steve. He's from AFC Wimbledon. Oh, Steve, turn us down. I think there's a bit of... Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's
Can
it.
you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. Good evening. How are you, mate?
Not so bad, not so bad. Well,
So-
hello to you all.
Good evening. So tell us all about Ali Al-Hamadi.
Well, we've only had him a year. He failed at Swansea, and he wasn't even sort of like third choice at Wycombe when we got him. You know, they didn't want him. But since he's been with us, he's been a bit of a revelation, to be honest. Although it's in League Two, he's quick, very quick, and he knows where the goal is. But all the edits that you've seen, you've only seen him scoring. You haven't seen him missing.
I did read somewhere, Steve. They said it one-on-ones. It takes him probably about five one-on-ones to convert one chance. Apparently,
I noticed they didn't show you the Salford game where we drew 0-0 and he had 3 one-on-ones and he didn't very. One of them was quite difficult because it was quite a tight angle, but you know he did miss 2 in quite an important game. You know, I think, to be honest, I think that it will take him a little while to get used to the speed of football that you play.
yeah. I listened to his interview, and he seems like quite a confident guy. Steve, he was obviously out playing in the Asia Cup for Iraq, and unfortunately they lost today, 3-2 to Jordan, 2-1 up, going into the 94th minute. Somehow managed to lose 3-2, so they're out. But he seemed really confident. He's confident he can make the step up. But as you say, he's obviously been playing League Two football. He's got 13 league goals this season, Steve, in 23 games. So knows where the net is. But obviously it's a very big jump, isn't it?
It is indeed. I mean, when we first got him, we played him wide, and we thought nothing of him, to be honest. Then after about 6 or 7 games, we switched him to the centre, and that is when he really started to show what he can do.
So he can play wide and he can play the 9. I would have thought at Town, guys, because obviously we're still probably hunting for a number 9, Steve. It's probably going to be Sam Gallagher or Kiefer Moore. So I don't think he will play there. But it's interesting, Craig, that Steve says he can play in the wide areas because obviously you've got Caden Jackson, haven't you? And you've got Amari Hutchinson, you've got your Wes Burnses, Sarmiento. So where do you see him fitting in, Craig, at the minute?
Well, I hope he's a 9, really. I think that's what we're crying out for. Obviously, we're probably hopeful that we're going to get one other in before the window shuts. But I've cried out for it for a while that we need something different. I don't want 2 or 3 people in the same mould as what George Hurst is. I think sometimes when we go away, you need someone who can get in behind. And reading some of the comments, a lot of people are saying with the balls over the top, chasing is where he's at his best. And I think you need that. You need to have a different variety of strikers because certain games you are going to, especially with certain teams where you don't have the ball as much, you need that out ball. And I know we say about Jackson, but hopefully this guy is going to be just that little bit better. And obviously Jackson, he's flitted in and out of there of a 9, a winger. He's never really nailed down a proper position, has he? And that's what I'd like to see this guy do is actually, if he comes as a 9, let's play him as a 9. Let's not try him as a 9, doesn't work out, and then we try and make him into a makeshift winger. Let's give him some time. But hopefully our promotion push isn't going to rest on this young lad's shoulders.
But it's interesting, Phil, that Craig says there about playing in the channels and playing the ball over the top. We don't really play that way, though, do we?
Not really. No. It comes pretty much from the centre pairing of Morsey and Luongo that start it, and the balls come in from the wide positions from Burns and Davis on either side. I personally think it looks as though early signs that this, for me, although he's only 21, is a bit of an upgrade on Jackson because this guy looks like a goal scorer. And, Jackson coming from a similar level in Accrington, he was probably more used to playing as more of a wide player.
Yeah.
But this lad, he looks more of a goal scorer for me. And I think that he's probably, obviously he's one for the future, but I think that to be introduced a bit more gradually, maybe off the bench, perhaps in games for me.
It's interesting you said about goal scorers. Sam Gallagher's just scored for Blackburn, so that's an
And have
interesting
half a million
one.
on.
Well, I don't think so. I was looking, Steve, at his stats this season. So obviously this is a league. 23 games, 13 goals. There's a bit of feedback, Steve, on your line.
There's a bit of feedback.
Yeah, when I keep hearing myself talking. I think
it's the host has muted your mic.
Ah, you're back in. I can hear you. I can hear you. Oh, it's all right now. We'll continue. So 23 games.
You said the host has muted your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, 23 games, yeah.
13 goals, 6 assists. So he's got 6 right foot, 7 left foot. He's got no goals with his head, and he scored 11 of his 13 in the penalty box, Steve. So that says to me he's a penalty box striker where he gets the majority of his goals.
Yeah, but the majority of his goals probably are breakaways. And he takes it into the box and then beats the keeper.
Right. 38 shots on target. So he's obviously, he didn't get a look in, did he, at Wickham? I think he went out on loan at Bromley. I think that's where he played a few games. And then what fee did you sign him for from Wickham? Did you get him for, was it a free?
We got him on a free with a 25%.
Yeah. I see you got 25% sell on. So it's reported it's just over $1 million with add-ons. So
which is criminal, really.
You happy with that, or would you want more?
No. We were on at about 2 million for him, to be honest.
A lot of money for a league. A lot of money for a League Two striker. But I was reading earlier. They said he's like probably the hottest property in League Two. I did listen to Johnny Jackson, Steve, at the weekend, and he was saying about he's obviously had his head turned. I think he was maybe hoping that there were some other clubs coming for him. Maybe you get into a little bit of a bidding war and then the price went up. But I think he said in his interview that he'd been speaking to Town for a couple of weeks, and I think he's got his heart set on that. So, look, it's going to obviously help you. I don't know how much you'll invest in that back into the team.
To be honest, it's not going to help us because we wanted to keep him, and at the start of the window, they promised us that they weren't going to sell anybody. They had no plans to sell anybody because we were pushing for the playoffs. You know, we're an 8th with 2 points off the playoffs, and he was a real key part of the team.
Yeah, obviously your leading scorer.
Yeah.
Big boots to fill, but I do remember, we'll let you go in a minute, Steve. Many thanks for coming on. I do remember the last number 9 we did sign from AFC Wimbledon. It was a guy by the name of Joe Piggott, and it didn't go very well for him at Town.
Yeah.
I had high hopes for him when he came. I did say on one of our shows I thought he'd get, I think it was 23 goals, and I think he scored 3 goals. That was all he scored in his Town career. Look, obviously this lad, he's young, he's hungry. He's going to work under one of the best coaches in the country. So I would expect him. What do you expect him to do at Town, like for the rest of this season and then moving forward? How high do you think he can go?
I think it all depends how much he's a confidence player. So I think it all depends on how much you actually play him. If you stick him in the team and you actually play him, give him a 3 or 4 game run. At the start of this season, he was out of confidence. He didn't score for the first 6 or 7 appearances. He was still a nuisance to the other defences, and he made a couple. But, he is a confidence player.
Yeah, look, we just hope he gets the ground running. I think for the starters, I think he'll probably be on the bench. It all depends who else we sign coming up to the window. Massive thanks, Steve, for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. I know I was hunting around looking for an AFC fan, and there was a couple of guys who couldn't make it, but I really appreciate it. Good luck for the rest of the season, and hopefully you'll fill that gap that Al-Hamadi's left. But many thanks and all the best.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, mate. There we go, guys. So he says he's a confidence player, Phil. Most strikers, I'd say, are confidence players, aren't they? Really?
Yeah. Let's just hope he goes through a purple patch when he starts with us. No, I think I'm saying, look, given his age, he's obviously one for the future, and he's going to have to probably bed in a little bit and get used to the way that we play football. But I think from what I've seen, just going by what Steve's just said, that he's obviously somebody who wants to score a lot of goals, and in doing so, he's not afraid to not score, not get on target. But no, I think that we've all got like high hopes for him. He's got potential there. McKenna's got a track record. We've seen it in the last 18 months of working with young players, building their confidence up, improving them, and I think that he'll do the same with him.
Yeah, I've got a few. Let me look at this. I've got a few comments that he made today. Here we go. This is Kieran McKenna. Craig, he says, Ali is a very exciting young striker who we feel has great attributes and a lot of room to continue to develop. He has a really good first 12 months of regular senior football, which I think is really important. And I think fans need to realise that he's only been playing senior football for 12 months. So this is a massive leap for him. So I think you need to give him a little bit of time to bed in. He's had a significant impact at AFC Wimbledon. Fits our recruitment profile of being a young, hungry, athletic and technical player who we feel can have an impact in the squad straight away, but also room to grow and develop for the future. Look, we've given him a 4-year contract, Craig, so I wouldn't be expecting the world from him towards the end of the season. I know a lot of people will be saying, look, we need a striker. We're second in the league. But to ask someone to come from League 2 straight into the Championship, score the goals to fire the town to... Look, if that happens, absolutely brilliant, But I think we should all just give him a little bit of time to settle in. I think whoever the other striker is, and I'll be very surprised if we don't sign anybody, I think there's more going to be expected of him, if I'm being honest. I don't know what you think.
No, I totally agree with you. I think the hope's got to be now that we do find someone else. Because I think it's, like I said, it's a lot of pressure for that young lad to join us, and we pin all our hopes on him going up. So they've got to have something else in the pipeline, you hope. It was I had a look on Twitter literally before we logged on here, and that the first bit I come to was someone saying that they would debate whether he's better than Caden Jackson. And it's like one of those head in hands moments. You're thinking, well, I hope he's better, because surely he can't be worse than Jackson as a 9. So for me, yeah, I don't read too much into the clips that we've seen. I've not seen enough of him to comment. Obviously, you're going to put a clip up of him scoring all of his goals. Until I see him in the flesh.
We can all go on them clips, can't we? We all see these new players, and there's not a lot of... I've seen him play a little bit. I can't say I've seen a great deal of him. I'm going off a lot of what you've seen, like the goals. Yeah, anyone can look good in a...
Well, like you said, look at Pigott. Look what he come with a record before he had. Obviously, had me look at the... It's so hard to tell. Our track record with signing decent strikers isn't great since really probably Murphy.
See, Steve makes a really good point there, Craig. He says, I think we have to remember that, no disrespect, he will be playing with higher quality of players than he has been, so we'll give him more chances. I agree with that. He'll be playing with better players, but he's still got to work out like the patterns of play. Like I said yesterday on the show, he's not going to come in. Look, I hope Saturday at Preston, I'd have thought he'd be involved off the bench. Be great if he comes on and he scores.
I think the big thing as well is like what we were talking about yesterday. So you get through this season. So say for example they sign Gallagher by the close of the window. So you've got Hurst, Gallagher, and Al-Hamadi, if that's how you say it, or however you say it. But so next year going into, say we're still in the Championship next season, he's going to be third in line. So when is he going to get games of football? So it's so difficult because we only play with one up front. You look at Dane Scarlett; he came with a good reputation, and you think didn't get a sniff. You see people on Twitter commenting saying he's not good enough. He was rubbish. You think no one ever see enough of him. And I hope. But
then we went from 3 strikers to 0 because Hurst was injured, Scarlett went back, and then they let Ladapo go. So it's. I know you're saying I get where you're coming from. Like he could be third choice, but I don't necessarily see him playing as a 9. I think he's obviously can play wide. He's got pace to run in behind. You know, you've got to have them options, mate. And at the minute, last few weeks,
wide, haven't we?
You think at the minute, Sarmiento, Hutchinson, they're only loan players. This is a big thing for me. They've signed this lad. They've given him a 4-year contract. You know, so obviously with that, Phil, they think that he's got the raw materials. You know, and he's going to work with McKenna. Obviously, we hope. Look, there's been a lot of talk about McKenna and going to other clubs, but we hope that Kieran stays and he works with him and he improves him and he comes with. This is what we want, you know. You want to sign these players young, like your Leif Davises, Phil. You improve them, and then if you have to move them on, you do, but at a massive sell-on fee. And he fits this mould, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah. It seems to me that I think for what stands out in the video highlights that we have online, that he's got that half a yard pace that will fox defenders. He seems to like to also come a bit deeper to collect the ball and then run with it. I'm going to say that's another attribute that many strikers don't necessarily have. I'm saying you would probably tend to see it maybe more in the Premier League, where strikers do actually have the ability to run with the ball. It's a special ability, I think, in my eyes. It ranks probably a bit higher than, having a lot of pace, because being able to run with the ball quickly at your feet, is something that, many strikers don't actually have. Strikers are good at putting the ball in the back of the net with either their head or, with a powerful shot. But
just a quick one, Phil. Just a quick one.
This guy.
Just a quick one. Lewis in the comments here, guys. I don't know if you said it. Question. With the rumours tonight that McKenna is turning to Matt Penny to cover at left wing back, do we see Leif Davies as a starter numbered?
I think
I thought that was a great comment. No, Bailey Clements is not coming back, Matt. I think he's returned to Chesterfield. Actually, he was on loan at Eastleigh. But yeah, look, I think this guy you should be excited, Craig. We've signed one of the hottest properties in League Two. He's 21. It's like Steve Parry says there. Even if you start next season with 3, it's 3 different options. It's gone off the screen. It'll be Hurst Gallagher, and then you've got. See it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but like you said, but then like Steve just said, he's a confidence player. For me, these players need games of football. It's a bit like what we're saying about Jack Taylor, aren't we? Yeah. We're saying that we don't think we've seen the best of Jack Taylor because he's not played maybe 5-6 games in a row, and he's been a bit part player. He's come in and come out, and it is. Anyone who plays football knows it's a difficult thing to do when you come in. You are a bit part player. So look, don't get me wrong. Like I'm not disappointed with it. Am I majorly excited? Because I've not seen enough of him to say, yeah, he's going to be fantastic. So look, I will back him because he's an Ipswich Town player. And I'll be cheering his name in the stands, and hopefully he will come and do the business for us over long term, over the 4 years.
Will you be singing that song? Will you be singing that song that I sang to you this afternoon?
Yeah, I just hope you're not next to me when he's being sung.
Rhythm is a dancer, Ashton has the answers. We signed a striker from Iraq. Scores them with his left foot, scores them with his right foot. I can't remember the next line. Have you seen him when he did attack? Whoa, Al-Hamadi. Oh, Phil, have you seen him in the air?
No, I haven't.
Rhythm as a dancer, brilliant song. Right, we've got some comments here. Sorry about me singing, everybody. Right, this is what the new signing had to say. Ipswich is a club on an upward trajectory with a manager who is known for developing players. So at the point in my career, I feel like I'm ready to make the step up, and this feels like the perfect fit for me. Everyone I've spoken to has given the club unbelievable reviews, so I'm just excited to get to work when I get back. Whenever I've watched Ipswich, it's attractive football with high intensity and energy, which fits my characteristics well. So I'd say it's the perfect fit for me. So there you go. He knows Sam Morsey as well, Craig. I watched his interview. I think he knows Leif Davis. So look, at least he's coming in. He knows a couple of lads in the squad. Saturday, I think he'll probably be involved. Now that obviously Iraq have been knocked out. Do you throw him straight in, or do you start him off the bench?
Me personally, I would probably throw him straight in. Why not? Look, you signed him. I personally would throw him straight in, unless obviously between now and then Gallagher signs and's available for Saturday. I would go for it. I think you've got nothing to lose. I think I like Broadhead out front, but I imagine Preston are going to be pretty physical. So it might not be his sort of game. So I'll give him a go. Look, he's in red hot form. What have we got to lose? I don't see any negatives about starting him.
Interesting. Go on. Just an interesting one, quickly, Phil. So, because this is from Joe Fairs, because he was under 21 at the start of the calendar year of the season. So, this season, he's not included into 25 because that seems a bit of a strange one for me, Craig.
Yeah, I did see that. So obviously, it's win-win, isn't it?
Yeah,
squad numbers and
win-win at the minute. We can keep Sonny Aluko in the squad then, Phil. Yeah. Well,
obviously, especially if they're looking at Marvin Johnson as well, aren't they? Has that rumour gone away yet?
No, still obviously looking at him.
Or Bowler? Is it Bowler?
Yeah, I think he's in the mix. I think they'll probably sign. I think they'll sign another left back. Look, I agree with Mike there. They do need another forward. I'd be very surprised, Phil, if this is the only striker we sign between now and I think it's 11 p.m. on Thursday night.
I think the one thing that I was going to mention is the fact that he looks pretty big.
6'2".
6'2", yeah. So he's got the physique in him, and I would say, look, he's obviously going to be we're going to assume that he's going to be the understudy of the senior striker that we've been looking for up until now. So we think that it probably will be Gallagher that comes in. He'd be the senior. So like Craig, you've just mentioned, I think if Gallagher were to sign before the Thursday deadline, then I would probably think that McKenna would probably start with him at Preston and then put Al-Hamadi on the bench and then bring him on for the last, 10, 15 minutes perhaps to get some minutes in him is what I was thinking. I would say for me, I think for me, from what I've seen of him from the highlights, he's probably more of a number 9 than a wide player, I think.
Look, whoever plays Saturday, I think you're probably at the nail on the head there. If Gallagher comes in, and I know people say, yeah, but he's playing for Blackburn tonight, Craig. I don't really think that's relevant because he's still their player. Nothing's been agreed with Town, so he's going to play. They want to get through to the next round of the Cup. I think he's scored. He's got an assist already. So as for that one, I think this will go right to the wire. If it's him or if it's somebody else, I think Town fans will be getting itchy fingers on Thursday afternoon. They'll be keep refreshing your keyboards, but I think you just might have to be patient on that one.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll go to the wire. I think it will be Gallagher though. I think Moore's. I'd imagine Moore going to Cardiff, if anything.
Yeah, see, was it Cardiff? Cardiff Town, Sunderland? I was reading this morning. I think we're all in for him.
Yeah, so look, it's just got to wait and see. So I just hope that obviously, even if we don't sign a striker, another one, that we don't put too much pressure on this young man's shoulders. That's for me. Like, look, he's like you said earlier, we've got to be realistic with it. And he's joining. It's going to take him a bit of time to settle in, and hopefully, like I said, working with Kieran, we'll progress his game to the next level. And yeah, like I said, you look. Go on.
What he needs, isn't it? What he needs is obviously like any striker, Craig, early goal. Score in the first one or two of his first couple of games takes the pressure off, doesn't it? You're coming in, You've got a price tag. He seems really confident. He's obviously a Scouser. He came over when he was one, I think, during the Iraq War. Came over to Liverpool. He was at Tranmere, didn't make it there. Obviously, he went. I think Swansea, Wickham. I think he played against Town in that game when we lost 1-0 last season. Apparently, at Wickham. Did you go to that one at Adams Park just before Christmas, Craig?
The snow.
It was freezing, wasn't it, that day? Freezing.
We parked at some hill, top of some hill.
Yeah.
And I had to crawl on my hands and knees up this hill in the snow, in the pitch black. It was the funniest thing ever.
I'd love to see that, Phil. I'd love to see that.
Mate, there was loads of us. Obviously, this walkway. There weren't an actual path. It was just a muddy hill, and it was covered in snow, pitch black, through some trees.
Luckily, we don't have to go to any of these shitholes now, do we? We're in a high division, better grounds, better facilities. You should have looked at was it parking.com? Surely you should have found something on there.
I weren't walking the long way around, mate. I was going straight up that hill.
Well,
it was all right coming down. I just sat on my arse and just slid.
What do we think of the possible incoming of Marvin Johnson?
I think that'd be quite a smart signing. I'm not saying, look, he ain't going to be playing regular, Phil, but he's another guy. He's been playing regular. What I want is when you're signing these players, I want players who've been playing football. Not sitting in a reserve team or playing in a 23s, not with a lot of football. Al-Hamadi, there you go. I think I got it right. He's been playing regular. He's been out with Iraq in the Asia Cup. He's obviously been playing for AFC. Sam Gallagher, playing regular football now. He's back from his injury. Marvin Johnson, another one. He might be, what is he, 34, Phil? 34?
33, I think. 33.
So it's not a long-term signing, but you do need, we'll probably find out this week, guys, about Brandon Williams, because, that's still dragging on. No one's even asked the question, what is happening? Is he staying? Is he going? If he goes back, obviously, I think that means we're going to bring in another fullback, guys, because I'd be amazed if you're, with Kieran, he said on Friday, Phil, that Cameron Humphreys and Baggett will probably go out on loan, which I think they both need. If you bring Marvin Johnson in, he's experienced and he can come in and he can do that job, and I think he'd be a smart signing. I don't know what Craig thinks.
Yeah, I sort of agree with everything you said, really. Look, let's be honest, he ain't playing. Unless Davis gets suspended or injured, he's not playing. So he's going to be a backup. You're not going to be in a case where he's resting Davis for a game and he's bringing him in, because Davis is so instrumental to the way we play. He gives us so much down that wing that, for me, it is just a cover. But it's an interesting one. Where does it leave Humphreys? Because you're thinking, well, the last few times we've seen Humphreys now, right at Birmingham, obviously the cup games, he's played him at left back. So obviously, if you're bringing someone in to cover that position, obviously you're not confident enough that Cameron can do that job.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say they're not confident. I just think a player of his ability, Humphreys, I think he needs to be playing regular football, Craig. I said it at the start of the season. I know people can say, yeah, but he's stayed around because he's got great coaching from Kieran, and I get that. But there comes some point, Phil, when you're 21 and you're not a young player anymore. You need to be playing minutes and you need to be playing games of football to get that experience behind you.
Yeah, I think you're right in what you're saying about Humphreys and Baggett, that, obviously when Burgess comes back, you'd think that, Baggett would almost certainly go out on loan again. Humphreys, he needs game time, like you just said. So yeah, it's a no-brainer for me. Really both of them should sort of go out on loan, maybe to a top League One club, get some good minutes under their belts, develop a bit further, and then we'll just see where they're at. But I don't know how old Al-Hamadi was at the beginning of the was he 20 or 21?
Well, it was, obviously it was at the beginning of the year, last year, for this season. So January 23. So that counts the start of the season. On that basis, he shouldn't really be counted in the 25-man squad. I think the players like Aluko, Evans, JD, look,
I can't really see any of those in the town shirt again at all. I mean, say, come the end of the season, there'll be probably a handful, maybe half a dozen players that will move on. That might include Jackson. We don't know yet. If it does, and we do win promotion, then that frees up, 5 or 6 places in the squad to bring in some real good quality. Or I'm going to say, just talking aside about the left back position, if we do bring in Marvin Johnson, at the moment, as things stand, you wouldn't have thought we would be losing Davis in the next couple of days. But it just makes you wonder, if we don't win promotion this season, and then West Ham come in for him in the summer, let's just hope that we secure enough funds for him to go on a real good spending spree in the summer.
Yeah, as I said yesterday, didn't I, about obviously people saying we're not spending big money. That doesn't happen, Phil, until I think, and Craig, I don't think it happens until we sell like a Davis. Greg shouldn't have got rid of Greg Lee. Don't agree, Daryl. He wouldn't have played football. He's injured anyway at the minute, so I think that's irrelevant. But I think that's the time when we'll probably break our transfer record. And Craig, I would have thought, if you get 20-25 million, that gives you that chance to sign 4 or 5 players of a little bit more money. Because I think at the minute, we're not in a position to be spending 6-7 million on a player.
No,
I think that's the bit off. Maybe we spoke about it previously, where you sort of misread the room a little bit with it. So you kind of, when we go up, you think obviously we've got money to spend, and I think clearly, one, we either haven't got as much money as what we think we've got, or we are financially stricken by financial fair play. And it is tighter than what we thought. Because looking at you, we haven't really spent loads, have we, to date?
No.
Cut 1.5 million here. Obviously, Broadhead, Hurst, and obviously we just spent another bit now. Obviously you might get Gallagher in and bits. But obviously, I would like to know from the club, and it'd be something to ask at the fans forum, is how close are we with financial fair play? What is our wriggle room? Because I think a lot of people, especially me and Q, it'd be like where Newcastle are at the minute.
They've got the money, can't spend it.
Yeah, but you're kind of waiting for that marquee signing, aren't you, somewhere along the line? You're thinking, right, they're going to go big at some point. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be the first one through the door? It's a big one. Man City did it years ago, didn't they, when they got Robinho in? He was the first one through the door, wasn't he? And it was like, wow, now we're talking big club. And I think that's what it was with this year. I don't know whether we as a fan base just thought we had a bit more money than what we could spend and was waiting for that big name to come through the door, maybe. And it hasn't happened. But look, the players we've brought in, they've done okay. Like,
there you go.
Obviously, Martin
says you'll find out when they do the first year back in the Championship accounts.
Yeah, so we'll know then.
So that's when you'll find out. Which I think is that June time. Is that June? Is it June? They do that.
I think the consensus is that with the money that we've spent so far, I'm gonna say it doesn't look like we've spent a lot. But if Davis does go for the amount that we think that he's going to go, maybe
Charlie says that we ain't going to get promoted spending 1 million. Well, Luton Town didn't spend much money, Charlie, and they got promoted to the Premier League. So I think it's possible. But you look today, just quickly, Phil. Me and Craig were talking before the show. You look at Southampton today. They're signing David Brooks on loan from Bournemouth. I mean, what a signing that is! What a signing that is!
Yeah, it's a very good signing.
Brilliant signing.
Yeah,
and I mean that is. This is what we're up against. You just have to think of reality. We all want to spend loads of money, Craig, but we're not in the same boat as a Southampton or a Leeds or a Leicester financially. We just can't do it.
And that's where the FFP helps, doesn't it? Where they can pay him higher wages, they can pay bigger loan fees. Do you know what I mean? They could be playing Bournemouth for £4 million loan fee. Obviously, they haven't got an option to buy, have they? So obviously,
is that just a loan? Is it?
I think it's just a loan, they said. I don't think there's no option to buy with it. But look. David Brooks is a good player, but Leicester have got good players. So, look, just because they're signing David Brooks doesn't mean that I'm now sitting here thinking, oh, well, that's it. Top two's done. Southampton are gonna sort of steamroller us. Look,
but a lot of people will think that by when we're making a signing today from AFC Wimbledon, you'll go on the message boards and You'll go on your forums, and a lot of people will be underwhelmed by this. I'm not underwhelmed. I think it's a good.
Can I just say something? In years gone by, and there's certain managers that have signed lower league players. When Mick McCarthy took Wolves into the Premier League, he signed 2 or 3 players down the football pyramid. I think who was just trying to think of his name. Oh, God, I can't remember what club he came from, but I think it might have been
Still Van Events Blake. He come from down the league. So you just have to look at Jamie. You just have to look at Jamie Vardy, Phil. We said about him yesterday.
Yeah, he came from Altrincham, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came Fleetwood and Altrincham.
These players are about. It's
yeah, but you go through our starting 11. Burns, Burgess, Halaki.
Yeah,
they've all come from our league. But the problem we've got is we've also got Piggott, Al-Hamadi. So it's hit and miss. But look, there's players down there. Look at that. I was saying to you the other when we talk about strikers, Rich. I said to you that Asante at West Brom.
Yeah,
he's one. If we got promoted, if he got promoted, he's one I'd look at. I think he's a terrific player. I thought he was brilliant when we played him. But you think he's come from Salford? So
you look at Langstaff. You look at Langstaff at Notts County. Scored loads of goals in the National League last season. Scored loads of goals. He'd probably be one. I think someone will probably come in for him in the summer. Anyway, quickly, we'll wrap up in a minute.
Can I just answer Colin's question because he put it in the chat and he's already asked me this. No, I'm not going to Preston on Saturday, Colin. I think I've already explained it to you that when I was in school.
You've been there loads of times. He used to drive there.
Yeah,
we've had this story. When is your next away day, Phil?
Well, I was looking at the Cardiff away game in early March.
Yeah,
I was going to go to the Swansea game, but it falls on the weekend, 17th, 18th of February, and I'm actually doing something else that weekend, so I can't actually physically get to the game. But I think the Cardiff away game, early March is probably the next one I'll be going to.
Right, quick one before we close. So we've got 18 games to go, Craig. I'll ask this to you as well, Phil. And in the chat, Ali Al-Hamadi, how many goals are you going to score between now and the end of the season? Get your predictions in quickly.
7.
Well, I think 7 would be a. I think we done the pod this time last year, a little bit earlier, Phil, when we signed George Hurst, and Gov said that to me, and I said about if he got 6 or 7 goals, I think that would be good. Craig's gone for 7.
I'm going to go 4 goals, simply because we don't know how much game time he's going to get. We don't know how many games he's going to start. Let's think that right now we may think that there's another striker coming in that would probably be the number 1 starter, so he's going to rotate with him.
Yeah,
I can see him getting 2 or 3 goals if he's provided with the chances from Burns or Morsey or Chappers. Then I think that he'll get on the good score sheet.
Right, here we go. Right, Dominic Dean 5, Matt Stannard 8, Stephen Parry 5, Finch's Rest Cemetery. I want some of what he's drinking, Craig, because he's gone for 11. Charlie says 5, GT 3, the Fisherman says 8, Daryl Otto 5. Lee Bailey's 4, Joe Curry 6, Graham Hodges 8, Josh 7, Mike D 3, Steve 8, Lee 4, Steve 7, Roy 8, Colin says 7, EJ Norris 7, Dorset Blue 10, Ben Taylor 9, and James Sargent says 6. Gareth Maloney, I do not believe you. You've just said 17. If he scores 17 goals between now and the end of the season, Town will be winning the league. Anyway, massive thank you to both of yourself for jumping on tonight.
Just one more thing.
Go for it. Just massive thank you for Steve. Obviously, thanked him earlier for coming from AFC Wimbledon, telling us a little bit about Al-Hamadi. Go on in.
Just quickly, it's a question to both of you and anyone else in the chat. 18 games to go. How many games do you think right now it would take us to secure, how many wins, it would take us to secure second place? I've gone with at least 11, which would put us on 92. Maybe
what we got now? 59 points.
59. So that's 11. At least 11 wins from 18 would put us on 92. That's 33 points. So
18
if we say
games,
I think 14.
14 wins. That's 100.
I think you're going to be one of those. I think you're going to have a very similar season to last season where someone is going to get a ridiculous amounts of points and they're going to miss out.
I think we could win. I think we could win 11 or 12. 11 or 12, Phil.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not saying we'll win 14, but I think you're going to be in and around 14. I think to go up.
Just quickly before we go, I think basically we need to match really what Southampton do. If you match what they do, I think we'll finish above them. Yeah.
Yep.
Our running's pretty good as well. You think, like, you look at Southampton, obviously they've still got to go away at Leeds, Leicester, and us. So
I think if you look at the next 10 games, Craig, I don't think there's anything. I'm not saying we're going to win all of them, but I think we need to be picking up a really good number of points to go into the final 8 games. And then you never know what happens. Just stay in the hunt. That's all we can do. Go to Preston Saturday. I know we're slipping into the wilderness, according to Matt Phillips, but I can assure Town fans that we're not. Let's go to Deepdale on Saturday. Let's go there and let's get a win. Let's get a win and let's get the promotion bandwagon back and rolling. Al-Hamadi, I will go for 6 goals between now and
Luco's match. That's a goal a game, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Let's not go there. We'll be back definitely on Wednesday night. We're back at 7 on Wednesday with a cricket show, followed by the Matchday preview show with me, Gov, and Matt Phillips. We'll probably do another transfer show somewhere this week. There'll probably be 1, maybe 2 signings coming. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, phone Freddie if you need any osteopath work. Say the Gov sent you. Stonemarket Osteopaths, Talking Town, Craig, Phil, the Cruncher. Thanks for everyone tuning in. We will see you down the road.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. Oh, yes, love. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Oh, yes, love. Oh, please, lover. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I went crazy from just the thought of you. A long blonde